MMA Fighting presents Timeline, Cris Cyborg vs. Holly Holm. July 26, 2008. Elite XC, Unfinished Business, Stockton, California. Cris Cyborg makes her US and network television debut against women's MMA pioneer Shayna Baszler. In a bizarre set of circumstances, Cyborg ends up celebrating her defeat of Baszler prematurely and has to resume fighting after climbing atop the cage. She does, and wins by TKO after referee Steve Mazzagatti officially stops the fight. August 15, 2009. Strikeforce, Carano vs. Cyborg, San Jose, California. After two more dominant victories, Cris Cyborg gets matched up against Gina Carano. This would be the first time two women have headlined a major MMA card and the first women's MMA main event to be televised live in North America. In front of almost 14,000 fans at the Shark Tank in San Jose, Cyborg defeats Gina Carano by TKO with only a second left in the first round. Cyborg becomes the inaugural Strikeforce 145-pound champion. Cyborg would go on to defend her title over the next two bouts in Strikeforce with a TKO stoppage over Marloes Coenen and a KO stoppage over Jen Finney. Cyborg's career would come to a grinding halt after her 16-second TKO stoppage of Hiroko Yamanaka. CSAC suspends Cyborg a year after her post-fight drug test positive for metabolites of stanozolol. The victory is overturned and made a no decision. July 13, 2013, Invicta FC 6, Cyborg vs. Coenen 2, Kansas City, Missouri. After serving her suspension, Cyborg returns to the cage, this time under the Invicta FC banner. After a successful debut over Fiona Muxlow at Invicta FC 5, she is set to rematch Marloes Coenen for the inaugural Invicta FC Featherweight Championship. Cyborg wins by fourth-round TKO, dominating the match from start to finish. Cyborg would go on to main event three more Invicta FC events and defend her title successfully each time, all by first-round knockouts. February 28, 2015, UFC 184, Rousey vs. Ngannou, Los Angeles, California. After earning a 6-0 record on the regional level, Holly Holm makes her UFC debut as the co-main event against Raquel Pennington.
As far as the actual nerves for the fight, I've been in a lot of big fights before and I feel that. I've felt that before. I've felt very nervous for fights before. I'm always nervous no matter who it is, because if it's somebody who's so great they're supposed to beat you, you're nervous, you want to get in there and do well. If it's someone you're supposed to beat, well, you better not be a letdown. There's a lose-lose situation, so I don't care who it is, I'm going to be nervous. I do feel like this has a little extra weight, and I can't wait to get in there and finally get this first fight in the UFC going.
It's pretty amazing that you've been with Winkeljohn for almost 20 years. You walked in as, I guess, like a soccer player, right? 16, 17 years old. You walk into that gym just trying to, work out. At what point did you actually believe that you can actually make a living doing this? Because when you first walked in, correct me if I'm wrong, you weren't thinking of being a prize fighter, right?
I wasn't thinking of fighting at all. I went in just to do aerobics classes, some cardio kickboxing. And before or after, depending on the time I would go, there would be sparring classes, and I would look and think, that looks fun. I want to try that. And then through going to sparring classes, I told Mr. Winkeljohn, I said, I really want to try a fight. I want to see what it's like and see how I do. I want to see what it feels like. I didn't even know if I would pursue doing it that much. I just wanted to try it out. And after the first fight, that was it. I was so fixated on it and addicted to it. I loved it. I just wanted it. As soon as the fight was over, I couldn't wait to get back in the gym and do better, because you never feel like a performance is perfect. And in soccer, swimming, gymnastics, diving, whatever I've done in my past, at the end of a season, I was always ready for it to be over. In MMA, or boxing, anything, fighting, it's year-round. It's all week. It's all year, all seasons, and I still love it. So after all these years, if I still like going in and training with this, I'm really glad that I found what I wanted to do, and how basically it just goes down to this. How blessed was I that I walked into Mike Winkeljohn's gym.
All gyms.
A trainer that people from all over the world have sought out to get trained by. That's who's been my coach from the beginning.
Holm wins by a split decision.
Did Holly do enough to make herself the best possible candidate for Ronda?
Listen, a lot of hype came in around Holly, and you know, what people have to understand for Holly, it's her first time here. It's her first time in the UFC, and I talked to her about this tonight too. I was asking her, you know, I don't care how many titles you've won, how many places you fought. When you come in here, it's a completely different ball game. You know, you burn a ton of nervous energy, you dump some adrenaline, and you know, she went in there tonight and she performed. She slid right into the co-main event position, and she did a great job. Let's let her get a couple of fights and, you know, start to feel like the UFC is her house and it's home, and, you know, then move up in the rankings, get some fights. She's got some time to get there.
And is that the way you feel, Holly, too, that you feel like you'd need a couple more fights before getting in with Ronda?
You know, congratulations to Ronda. That was an impressive win, and really as a champion, you just don't really see that coming, and Ronda really is. She's very impressive, so I would like to get my feet wet, and I finally got this, you know, first UFC fight over with. I never really pick a fight. I always leave that up to my manager and my trainer, and I'm just really thankful to Dana White and just this opportunity here tonight to be able to come and fight with the UFC. It's definitely an honor.
November 15th, 2015, UFC 193, Rousey vs. Holm, Melbourne, Australia. Following a unanimous decision victory over Marion Renault, Holm is set to face Ronda Rousey for the UFC Bantamweight Championship.
Holly, I want to ask you right off the top, something interesting I feel like has been happening. Anytime someone becomes a megastar, a huge deal like Ronda has become, there's always backlash, right? You become this big, media attention, media sensation, people start to nitpick and things like that. And I've been noticing this sort of shift towards you. You're so different from her. You're quiet, you're calm, you don't get as much attention, that people start to root for the underdog. In the days leading up to this fight, have you sensed that happening more from when this fight was first announced?
I do, and I feel that the longer that it's kind of gone through the training camp and everything, there has been people thinking, don't count Holly out. I think, and I think that comes with just a little bit of confidence on my side. I'm not trying to be the, little dog that's barking because they're really scared. And I'm not trying to be, the overconfident, just walking around like I don't know, like this is just, I'm too good for this, because I know what I'm up against. I know I'm up against the most dominant female fighter. I'm very aware of that, and I know I have my hands full, but I know I'm perfectly capable.
Do you feel like it was a little presumptuous on her part to say, oh, Holly doesn't want this, she doesn't train as much? She's been saying a lot of that stuff. You wouldn't want the belt, you don't train, you don't want to die. It's like, how does she know what you want? Do you ever think that way?
She doesn't know, and I don't think anybody knows what's on somebody else's heart fully. Everybody knows what's in their own heart, knows what's in their own mind. And I'm not one to ever say what somebody else feels or does, or what their passions are. So it doesn't bother me that she feels that way because I know different.
How do you envision beating her? Does something come to mind?
I just think about open opportunities in the fight. I visualize if this, if this opening is here, take it. If this opening is here, take it. If you see her kind of hurt from a little bit of a shot, take advantage. Don't be dumb with it, but take advantage. So I think if I'm in a bad position, let's not be dumb, let's be smart with it. So that's how my mind's working right now. I don't really think of an exact finish. I just think of it, the fight as a whole.
Do you foresee the knockout being available? Sometimes she does keep her chin up.
Anybody can be knocked out, just as I can myself. So I want to be careful that I don't let her land those shots and sneak those shots in. But yes, anybody can be knocked out. Any shot can be the one.
That was very intense. What exactly was all that about?
I don't know. I was just having a drink,
I just wanted to get in her face and show her that I was there for a reason. She's the one that put the fist on my face. I didn't touch her. She's the one that touched me, and I told her that fake sweet act is, I see right through it. I really do. It was all fake. All until now. All that respect, all that everything, all you being sweet, I see right now that it's fake, and you're going to get it on Sunday. You're not the first person that thought that you had the perfect plan to beat me. It's not the first time your camp thought that they had the perfect plan to beat me. I'm going to show you on Sunday why I'm the champ.
Good luck to you, ma'am. the champ, ladies and gentlemen, Ronda Rousey.
In what is considered to be one of the biggest upsets in MMA history, Holly Holm defeats Ronda Rousey by second-round knockout. She is the new women's UFC 135-pound champion.
Your life is going to change drastically forever now. Are you prepared for that? Do you want that?
You know, for me, what I love is that I gave myself a chance to go out there and do something. And that is definitely what I will take with me forever. And whatever comes with it is great. But I'm still in control of my own self, that I'll take on what I want to take on, and I'll still have my quiet time, shut the door when I want to. I still want to be me.
Would you say this is the greatest moment of your life? You've won belts before. This is not new for you, but it's a big stage. Does this top them all?
Oh, this is big. It kind of just doubles up because nobody's been able to do it in more than one sport like that. Well, as far as boxing and MMA, and to be able to have done it in another sport is huge. It's a big accomplishment, and I am very proud of it. I'm very proud.
Last thing, yesterday she was calling you fake. She was taking shots at your character. You appeared to be the exact same person today as you were, when you started this whole journey. Did that give you an extra little push going into this fight?
No, I knew that. I mean, a lot of times when there's been like any kind of like drama before or after, or well, before a fight, I always think, oh man, they're worked up. And I remember, I don't know, I want to say maybe like 8 years ago, my coach was like, do you think she's going to hit you any harder than she did yesterday? I mean, they want to hit you as hard as they want to hit you no matter what, And so let's just keep our emotions level. So it didn't change how I felt about the fight at all. I knew she was coming in with emotion. I think you could sense that a little bit at weigh-in, so that can be a good thing or a bad thing. You can go out there with a lot of emotion and really do something crazy, land something great, and you can go out and it can make you crumble. I don't think that had anything to do with her performance. I think once the bell rang and we started, it was just fight time. So, and I am who I am, and definitely not fake. Just an interesting way in.
Congratulations. Enjoy it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
March 5th, 2016, UFC 196, McGregor vs. Diaz, Las Vegas, Nevada. With the Rousey rematch unavailable, Holm is set to face longtime top contender Miesha Tate as the co-main event for UFC 196.
What is the pressure like this time around in your first title defense?
I feel like every fight has a lot of pressure because I put it on myself. My last fight, a lot of people would tell me, you have nothing to lose, She has everything to lose, you have nothing to lose. I'm like, I put a lot of hard work in. I have everything to lose. I don't care what the odds say on the paper. I'm capable of winning this fight. And now that everybody's seen the performance I had last, the expectations are even higher. So there's even more pressure, maybe from everybody else, but still the same pressure I put on myself. For every fight, I always feel pressure because I want to do well for my team that has helped me to get there. I want to perform for them and make all the hard work worth something.
After being down on the judges' scorecards, Tate comes back and defeats Holm by submission in the 5th and final round. It is the first defeat of her MMA career.
When you have a fight like this, is it just back to the drawing board? Is it, can you reflect on this? Obviously you've had to deal with the defeat before in your boxing career, but how are you processing it right now? Because I know it's never easy to go through a defeat.
It isn't easy, but it's a growing experience. There's always these odds on paper, I always say, but for me, it's always 50-50 when you get in there. There's a winner and a loser, and that's all there is to it. And tonight, I do feel like I was doing enough to win the fight. She had a great second round. I felt like, I had 1, 3, and 4, and even 5 until I slipped up there. And it's a learning experience for me. I should have been fighting those hands right away, and I should have just not gotten so complacent. I just feel like I didn't have, I kind of let my guard down a little too soon, and it cost me the fight.
Holly, obviously your competitive spirit, drove this decision to fight Miesha now. How do you honestly, Monday morning quarterback this situation? How do you get better, and do you want to fight Miesha UFC 200?
want to fight Misha tomorrow, you know? Like, she would want the same thing, you know? She's been around the sport a long time. I'm more anxious to get in and train right now than I have been in a long time. I mean, everybody keeps, before this fight, a lot of people, why are you taking this fight? You should wait for the rematch. What? You know what? I'm in it to fight. That's what I'm in it for. And tonight I made some mistakes. And that's all it comes down to. I need to fix those mistakes, and I'm going to come back stronger. You know, Misha capitalized. And I've said this from the beginning, she's a scrapper, you know. She can be behind in a fight, and she can still finish, and I let my guard down. And it cost me the fight. It cost me the fight. So the next thing I want to do is I want to get back in the gym and get better. You know, this is a whole different fight I had, and I do feel like my whole MMA career has been on this like kind of like fast course, which I love. I want the challenge, and I wanted to take this challenge, and I want to get it back in there. I want to rematch, or whoever they'll set up a fight with. I want that. I'm here to fight.
May 14th, 2016, UFC 198 Verdum vs. Miocic, Curitiba, Brazil. Cyborg makes her UFC debut at a catchweight of 140 pounds. She is set to face fellow Invicta veteran and former flyweight Leslie Smith. Cris Cyborg defeats Smith by TKO early in the first round. July 23rd, 2016, UFC on Fox 20, Holm vs. Shevchenko, Chicago, Illinois. Holm is set to face rising bantamweight prospect Valentina Shevchenko as the main event for UFC on Fox.
I really like Cyborg. I love to watch her fight. I love her as a person. She's really, she's awesome. I consider her a friend. And she's the same as myself, though, that, if the opportunity is there, like, we'd take the fight. Right now, especially at the time, it's, I had the belt, lost it, and then I wanted to rematch, so I was kind of waiting for that. They had talked about the fight when she fought in Brazil at a catchweight, but, if the fight is right and the time is right, then great, I'm open to it, but we'll see.
You would do it at a higher catchweight?
Like I said, I think it just depends on when the fight comes, like the right fight, the right time. I'm not against it, but right now, part of my goal is to get back to the belt, and the belt's at 135, so I think that's probably the biggest kind of thing there, but that doesn't mean I'm against a fight with Cyborg, so I'm open to it, but I'm still with Valentina on my mind, there's a lot of if this then that can happen between any fight. So
is that hard for you? Is that hard for you, real quick, to focus on Valentina when you literally got one question about Valentina today? You got 30 questions about everyone but her. How do you stay focused on what's at hand?
Just being surrounded by a team that's constantly got that focus at mind. My teammates are trying to mimic her as my opponent. They're trying to help me out. My coaches are, constantly focusing on that. And there's a lot of curiosity in our weight division, so I understand that there's a lot of questions from all the different fighters. But I know what I have in front of me, so I'll stay focused on it.
Shevchenko wins by unanimous decision.
I know I'm capable of more. I think I just need to believe in myself a little more. I know, like I said, I know I can do more than what I performed with tonight. Valentina is really tough. We know that. We knew that everything, counter-punching, clinch, trips, all that. It's not like I haven't been taught the right things. It's just, it all comes down to my performance, and it wasn't great tonight. I need to go forward. I need to dig deep, and I need to just get in there and go hard. I need to have maybe more of that drive when I think sometimes before I actually learned technique, I just had grit. I know I still have that. Maybe just need to, like I said, I just need to believe in my ability. I know that I'm capable of more.
February 11th, 2017, UFC 208, Holm versus Durandamy, Brooklyn, New York. Despite being on a 2-fight losing streak, Holm is set to face Germaine Durandamy for the inaugural UFC Women's Featherweight Championship.
I know you're fighting for a belt, and that's a big deal, and I know you sometimes get tired of being asked questions about Ronda. You want to move on from that. But considering the fact that your last win was against her, maybe even more so than winning the belt, is it important to win on Saturday so that you can move on and not have people say you're Buster Douglas and things like that? Do you think about that so you can move on with your life?
100%. I want it for me. I don't even care what other people say. I really don't. I know I'm fighting the best in the world, and I know that anything can happen in there. I know that I didn't put my best foot forward in my last 2 fights. These are all simple facts, common knowledge. Everybody knows it. It's out there. I know it. I know I'm coming off 2 losses. What I want for me is to know I'm not defeated. I want for me a victory. I don't want to have a 3rd loss in a row. I've never been here in my career, ever. I've never had 2 losses in a row, ever. This is a sore spot in my heart. It's sour. And of course I want to win. There's no way you would be in this sport if you didn't care about winning or losing. Oh, it's not if you win or lose, it's how you play the game. No, it's if I win or lose, and I want to win. That's it.
In a competitive and controversial fight, Holm suffers her 3rd consecutive loss and loses by decision.
Obviously a little controversial with those 2 punches that landed. Actually, it was 3. One big one, I think it was the end of the 3rd and maybe end of the 4th or 2nd and 3rd, and then the 2. Yeah. Do you feel like a point should have been deducted after the first time that this happened? And if so, should another one have been deducted after the second time it happened?
You know, a lot of times with the first one, they give a warning. That's kind of normal. I wouldn't expect them to take a punch after the first one, even though it was intentional. And then the second time, you think that at that point they would do something, but I'm just one of those, I don't know, I'm one of those people that feels like I should not let her done it anyway. Yes, it's after the bell. I hear the bell. I stopped and she threw. It wasn't like in the, the last punch of a combination when the bell rang. Like, it was intentional. It was after the bell. Those are some of her best shots of the whole night were after the bell, and I don't know how the judges saw that. If they see that as points for her, then what can you do? It's like, I should have kept fighting too then. I mean, I should really capitalize on moments when I did well and not even let her get to that point.
Do you think she did it on purpose?
Well, yeah. It's like I said, if it's one shot after the bell at the end of a combo, then yeah, that's an accident sometimes. You're in the flurry of it, but I still think I could have won the fight on my own.
June 17th, 2017, UFC Fight Night 111, Holm versus Correia, Singapore. Holm is once again booked as a main event, this time against bantamweight Bethe Correia. Holm returns to her winning ways with one of the best knockouts of the year. The victory snaps her 3-fight losing streak. July 29th, 2017, UFC 214, Cormier vs. Jones 2, Anaheim, California. Following a dominating KO victory over Lena Landsberg, Cris Cyborg is booked against Invicta FC bantamweight champion Tonya Evinger for the now vacant UFC featherweight belt.
I think it's gonna be the end of the one chapter in my life and the beginning of the new life, I think it'll be great. And there'll be one more belt. Like, I have 2 in the house, and there's gonna be one more belt. And I'm really happy about it, but I don't think about that now. I just think about winning that fight Saturday.
Cyborg wins by TKO in round 3. The former Strikeforce and Invicta FC champion is now the new UFC featherweight champion.
I think the UFC belt coming in perfect time. I think I'm in prime my career. In the fight, I feel very relaxed, and then, you know, before I throw like 50 punches and touching my opponent like 30 times, but now I see more and I see, you know, where I can punch, sweep the punch too, and, you know, I feel great. I feel really happy, and be part of this. This is ended one chapter in my career, and then you're gonna begin the, you know, new things in my career. I'm really happy, very blessed.
When you were dreaming about becoming a UFC champion, did it feel the way it feels now?
This dream is a long time ago. I had this dream, man. But a lot of things coming in my career, and man, I'm very thankful to have this opportunity to be the third belt, different the organization, you know, and I feel very happy, you know, I'm very blessed. And the first day I start training, I keep training. I mean, 12 years, I start 2005 training. I keep the training same way. Every day, I train every day, learn every day, never stop, because I know people watch me for wanna beat me, and I keep just training, invest, and I know the day you're gonna come, and today the day.
December 30th, 2017, UFC 219, Cyborg versus Holm, Las Vegas, Nevada. The UFC Women's Featherweight Champion, Cris Cyborg Justino, is set to face the former UFC Bantamweight Champion, Holly the Preacher's Daughter, Holm, as the main event for UFC 219.
Okay.